with either a roof attached to it or a carriage attached to it. It's what they call a habal-habal transport, and it will cost you 20 pesos per trip. But that's only in the morning. In the evening, after dinner and drinks, the price goes up to 50 pesos. And if you decide to party the night away, well, it'll cost you another 100 to 150 pesos in the early morning hours. So safe to say, renting a motorbike is the way to go. For 500 pesos or around $10, you can rent a motorbike good for 24 hours, more than enough time to wander around and get lost. Now that we have our motorbike full of gas, it's time to head off to our first must-visit place, the Magpupungko Rock Pools. Located in the town of Pilar, about an hour away from General Luna via motorbike, Magpupungko is a natural pool surrounded by rock formations that is separated from the ocean by a large reef. It's absolutely beautiful with crystal clear waters in shades of blue and green and everything in between. Timing is key though, as the pools are only accessible when it's low tide, so be sure to check tide charts for the day before visiting. After swimming around in the rock pools, we headed back to General Luna for some much needed food. For a refreshing option, I highly recommend you visit Shaka Siargao. They offer smoothies, juices, coffee, tea, and power bowls. A great option as a pre or post surf session meal. And if you're a fan of photography, the cafe's walls are lined with photos from local photographers. The next day we headed off to the town of Del Carmen, about an hour away from General Luna, the jump-off point for another hidden gem in the island, Sugba Lagoon. About a 30-minute boat ride from the port of Del Carmen, passing through mangroves and fishing villages. Sugba Lagoon is tucked away somewhere in a little corner in Siargao. It's a beautiful piece of paradise surrounded by lush greenery and warm, clear, turquoise waters. After mustering up the courage to jump off the diving platform, we rented a stand-up paddleboard which we sat on and explored the rest of the breathtaking lagoon. I highly recommend though that you visit Sugba Lagoon as early as you can to avoid the crowds and enjoy the lagoon for yourselves, albeit for a limited amount of time. It's an amazing playground you can spend hours in. Until they ask you to leave, that is, as there's a 4-hour limit for each group to avoid overcrowding. Oh well, back to General Luna we go for some much needed rest. The next day we headed off to the port of General Luna, the jump-off point for the day's activity, island hopping. There are 3 nearby islands in Siargao that are usually included in a day tour island hopping package. First stop is Naked Island, which is basically a huge white sandbar. There's nothing here except for white sand beaches and a small hut in the middle of the island. The place is great for swimming around or just relaxing. The second island is Daku Island. Daku is a Visayan term, a dialect in the Philippines, which means big. On this island, there are cottages which you can rent for the day, and this is the part of the tour where we have our lunch. Just a few hundred meters north of Daku Island is Guyam Island. Similar to Naked Island and Daku Island, Guyam is surrounded by white sand beaches and hard corals. This is a perfect end to an amazing island hopping tour. Of course, I couldn't leave Siargao without trying the #1 must-do thing on the island, surfing. So off we went back to General Luna to surf the famous Cloud 9 break, or at least try to. Cloud 9 is a right-breaking reef wave known for its thick, hollow tubes and got its name from a local chocolate bar. It's been featured in several US-based surf magazines and is part of the qualifying series where surfers from around the world compete to gain points to qualify for the World Surf League, which is basically the NBA of surfing. And while Cloud9 is the most famous surf spot on the island, with locals jokingly calling it Crowd 9, there are several other quality waves around the island, some of which can only be accessed by boat. Renting a surfboard for a 1-hour session costs 350 pesos, plus an additional 150 pesos for a surf instructor. And while this was not my first attempt at surfing, I still needed the guidance of a surf instructor badly. For the next hour, I then proceeded to demonstrate what not to do on a surfboard. After flailing about like a fish stuck on land and feeling sorry about my poor surfing skills, I felt even worse when I saw this kid effortlessly cruising around on what looked to be a board that was heavier than him. Later in the day, I discovered the kid's name was Kai Alcala, a 7-year-old kid who basically learned to surf before he could swim. Siargao is truly a surfer's dream paradise, with warm waters, several world-class breaks to choose from, and much less crowds compared to other famous surf spots. It's easily one of the best surf trips you can make. And if you don't surf, well, there are plenty more activities to choose from. Simply put, this island is one big playground where the possibilities are endless, and the only things that can limit you are time, money, and real-life responsibilities. But skip over those limitations and you have an amazing island with a funky, laid-back vibe and the kind of island lifestyle where time slows down and life's problems take a backseat to the feeling of happiness and contentment. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up or comment down below. And as always guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next adventure.